Wellington, we understand the importance of allowing students to identify areas of passion and to ask questions that are relevant, and then to really think about how would you answer that question. It builds critical thinking skills, problem solving, and ultimately allows them to become expert in something and take ownership of their learning.
I'm currently doing research at Nationwide Children's Hospital. We're looking at the effect that vitamin D has on kids with asthma. We're investigating their inflammatory biomarkers like IL-6, IL-10, CRP, and also looking at how it has an effect on their emotional status. I'm interested in this topic because asthma is the #1 chronic condition in children. The only way to treat it is giving them steroids at this point in time. So if we could give them something that naturally happens when they go outside with the sun, or giving them a tablet like vitamin D, it could have a huge effect on their lives. The most exciting part about being an ISR is I get the opportunity to get published as a high schooler. I'm currently in the submission process of what I worked on over the summer. I'm working with the doctor in order to publish a paper for scientific journals.
I wanted to study illusion because I wanted to know how they work. I plan to make a slideshow to teach my friends how to do that.
My topic is mental illness in teenagers, and I'm studying it because it's becoming increasingly common in today's world, and I want to know exactly why. The first thing I did was I went and I researched the most common types of mental disorders, whether that was anxiety or depression. I looked into what are the treatments for it and what are the causes. One of my goals is maybe look into criminal psychology when I'm older. I always found that extremely fascinating.
I'm conducting research at OSU. I'm in the molecular genetics lab and I'm working with RNA biology. I'm studying a specific gene, BCLAF1, and that's involved in transcription regulation. I'm purifying the DNA and performing various tests on it to study it. I've always been interested in science and biology in particular, and when I grow up, I'd like to study viruses, and a big part of viruses is the DNA and the RNA and all that, because that's the main bulk of what a virus is.
I researched smoking and learned about what happens to your lungs when you smoke. Oh yeah, I want to be like my dad when I grow up. I want to be a cardiologist.
I made my own robotic arm that can draw. I have learned how to program in tons of different ways. I think it's really cool, like if you can program them to do different things, like they can do things on their own if you just program them to.
I chose to research how to do a complete heart transplant from the beginning to the end. That includes how you prep the patient and what you have to do after the surgery. And I chose this because I want to go into the medical field. I'm excited to learn more about how to do the surgery, what types of tools they use, and particularly how they take it out and then manage to put another one back in.
For my I-10 project, I decided to do claymation, taking pictures like a stop motion with my iPad. I think I've learned that you have to persist through your obstacles, go through different prototypes, and not just give up.
I decided to study black holes because they're interesting and a lot of people don't know about them. The most interesting fact is that since the gravity is so strong, it pulls your feet in before your head and you get stretched into a long. I researched a little bit about general relativity, where space has to do with time. If you go up to like the speed of light, you'll go through time. And I also researched that gravity, that it takes longer to go straight than to curve, and that's cool.
I'm working in a neuroimmunology laboratory at OSU, and I'm looking at multiple sclerosis, which is an inflammatory demyelinating disease of the central nervous system, which means your immune system is attacking your body. And I'm looking at genes in the immune cells that are doing the attacking and seeing what effects those genes might have on stopping disease progression. I actually shadowed one of the doctors who treats multiple sclerosis patients, and then you can see the varying stages of disease, which really connects you to the patients more than laboratory work does. The work I'm doing now, in my mind, is preparing me more for a career in medicine, just because it's offering me a view into what more serious research looks like.
As we allow students to take ownership of their learning with guidance from talented and committed faculty, we see students shifting from being just consumers of information to producers of new things that are useful beyond themselves, and we see them take a lot of pride in that and grow in new ways.